Hello, Fredak here. Fred ACC, all one word. Alrighty. It is Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November the 27th. It's about 4 p.m. East Coast time. Today, what have we got? Fredak has got some scribbled notes. 2 different pages of notes. Today we are titled The Housing Crash. It's a lot about the economic crisis that I think is looming. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about XRP for the XRP followers. I hope you subscribe. You never know what you might learn from Fredak. Might not learn anything. I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving day. Take a moment to enjoy your family, the loved ones, a little bit of gravy, stuffing, and some turkey, and yada, 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 yada. Americano all the way. And many of you are all around the globe, many of you who are subscribers, and I love the comments from around the globe. You guys are great. As I say many, many times on here, these are just the ideas that are swirling around in Fredak's head. It's not financial advice. No, 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 no. Garbage in, garbage out. You never know, you might absorb a small little nugget of something that makes a lot of sense. CNTS or SENSE, I'm not sure. Subscribe, hit the likes button, smash the likes button, the don't likes button, whatever you got to do, that's all good. As I start out many of my postings, if for those of you who are brand new, I'm glad you're stopping in. The housing crash. Yes, the housing crash. It is upon us. It's beginning. It has begun. I've been posting about this on here for a solid year. Go back to last year. I posted from the shopping mall, the Black Friday. It was the beginning of the end. Not the end of the world, but there's boom and bust cycles. We're going to go into that in a moment. We're also going to go into the bailout that I think the person who's in financial trouble can try to grasp onto the golden ring, something with an opportunity to get out. Let's start right in here. The housing crash. As I always say, be wary of the scammers. The scammers are out there in full-blown scamming. There's stuff out there that looks so real. There's these AI things. They look like Brad Garlinghouse or the president or the head of the Federal Reserve or whatever. It's a freaking scam. They portray themselves as the IRS, giveaways. Oh, we'd love to help you, and on and on and on and all the baloney. The bottom line is that if it looks too good to be true, it usually is. Remember that. That's the axiom from Mom and Grandmom. Okay, so the housing market has gone through boom and is now going into bust. Well, what do you know? All the talking heads are talking about that. Well, guess what? Fredak's been talking about that for a long, long time, a solid 2.5 years. Okay, so I use a lot of analogies to transpose the ideas that are in my head over to your head. And one of them is coming up in a moment. Got this housing crash coming along. Okay. Why is it inevitable? Well, money was cheap. You can watch many talking heads out there, and knowledge is power. I strongly suggest you check out everything that Fredak mumbles about on here. And all the other talking heads, Crypto Johnny, Grandma Crypto, I Love Crypto, whoever the heck it is. They're all out there. There's something for everybody on here. On YouTube, there's something to entice everybody. The headlines are crazier and crazier. I'm going with housing crash. A little bit crazy. Hopefully I got your attention. And I hope you're not one of those people that are involved with the housing crash. But it's somewhat inevitable. Let's get into all that. Starting with the crash. Carry this analogy over. Why does everybody not drive a Lamborghini, a $450,000, $600,000, $800,000 car? Why does everybody not drive one of those? I'm glad you asked. Well, they don't drive those because they can't afford it. They cannot afford it. They cannot afford it. House prices are not affordable to the average person. Let's be real. They just kept going up, 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 up. And everybody's a speculator. They want to make money. And the big money came in. The big institutional investment groups buying things up. Well, they got a actuarial game plan here that they're going to grind out a profit of 8, 10, 12, 15, 20% a year renting these things out. So they drove the price up. So a lot of different factors are involved with this housing potential disaster that's coming home to roost. Let's dwell a little bit more on all of that. So probably in the last year, year and a half, people are buying houses with something called an FHA mortgage. You put down 3.5%. So let's go with a $500,000 brand new home. You buy it for 3.5% down. You're putting down $21,000. And you're getting this mortgage. Well, let's see if the price from $500,000 starts to drop below, I don't know, $488,000, $78,000. You're now losing money, but not that bad. You'd probably stay. What if the price drops drastically down to like $420,000? I start to think about walking away. $370,000, $340,000 selling price. You're definitely going to start thinking about saying, here's the keys, it's all yours, Bank of America, or whoever it might be. That's one of the many, many different legs of the chair that are fractured. Go back over to the notes here. So why is everybody not driving a Lamborghini? Because they can't afford it. People can't afford the housing prices that are out there now. The salaries have not gone up, have not commensurated with the rise of housing prices. And from 10 years ago, house prices doubled, but your salary didn't double. It's not going to pan out. That's the bottom line. They cannot afford it. Hello? Okay. I personally, in my opinion, the washout is only beginning. And I've said this for quite a while. The washout is beginning. And of course, there's the different talking heads on the big shots out there, all the big things, and there's a lot of manipulation going on. It's scary, the manipulation. But when problems rise up to the surface, they tend to happen quickly. Things could change very drastically, very quickly. But right now, people are just stuck. So the people that bought a house for $800,000 and thought, you know what, I'll just flip it for $899 and make a quick $99,000. Not panning out that way. Now we're going the other way. But who says it has to stop at this number here, at that number there? It can get a whole lot uglier. That's usually how it goes. Remember this, insanity knows no boundaries. No, there's no boundaries with insanity. Knowledge is power. I've said that many times. So I personally think the washout is only just beginning. So we had boom and bust. It's a normal cycle, boom and bust. Happens quite often. How does it work? Well, usually there's cheap money, low-priced borrowing, which causes everybody to start chasing after the same products. And those who are selling the products start to realize, gee, I might as well raise the price. If they keep buying, I'll raise the price even more. Why not? That's capitalism at its best. Reminds me of a story. Another analogy story. Boring, but I'm at this place called the Meadowlands. It was a Grateful Dead concert or something. I'm there hours before the concert starts. It's an all-day thing. I'm there at like 9, 10 in the morning, having my barbecue, doing a few other things. And right outside the stadium there's this guy with this big plastic swimming pool full of ice, water, and beer. And he's like, ice cold beer, $2 each. I said, wow, I got a lot of people coming here. And I'm thinking, when this gets crowded later on, these will be selling like mad. I can make a ton of money on this. I said, how many you got in there? Maybe I'll take them all. I got a whole group of people coming. He's like, well, let me see. I started with 200 cans. He's like, I've sold. He checks his money. He's like, I got $38. I sold 19 of them, so I got 181. I said, give me a great price on the whole deal. Throw in the tub with the ice, and I might just buy it all. He's like, well, give me 300 for it all. I'm like, 260. And he's like, 290. And I'm like, 280, a done deal. He's like, 280, we're done. I'm like, yeah, go enjoy the concert, $280. The moment we transact that, it's now my stuff. And I'm like, ice cold beer. People are like, hey, how much? I'm like, they're only $5 each. 5 for 20. Give me 2. Give me a $10 bill. The guy's like, man, you're selling my beer for $5 each. I said, no, I'm selling my beer for $5 each. And as it dwindled on down, I started to raise the price, supply and demand. That's how things work in the capitalistic world. As people were buying them, this crowd starts to come around. It's 12:30 in the afternoon. Hot day, sunny. Down to my last 60, 55, 60 of them. I'm like, ice cold beer, they're only $7 each. And they were $10 each. They're buying them. And I was down to the last 20, 25 of them. Sold them all, made some good monies on it. That's just the way of the world. The boom and bust cycle. So everybody wants to be a speculator. But let's be real. When you have these boom and bust cycles, on whatever it's going to be, rare coins, beanie babies, cryptocurrencies, whatever it might be, usually at some point someone has to be left holding the bag. Understandable. And on these boom and busts, who usually gets hurt? Who gets hurt? I'm glad you asked. It's the small people. The Fred Acts of the world, the 9-to-5ers, the everyday people, they're the ones that get hurt. The last ones in, the speculators buying these things that they shouldn't have been speculating, or the big outfits out there, big institutions, but their thought is like, well, the government's going to bail me out. Well, I'm not sure that's going to happen this time around. They bailed out General Motors years ago, and they bailed out some of the other different financial institutions, too big to fail. We all remember that stuff. But the day of reckoning is upon us. That's probably the reality of it all. Okay, some of the things that are going on to the housing crash. Whether you want to see these things or not, they are out there. Do your homework, check Fred Act out, subscribe. Something called BlackRock. Supposedly they've got these CLOs, collateralized loan obligations, and they're in trouble with it. The prices that they're posted, that they're trying to articulate them at, is not even close to truthful, supposedly. You had First Brands, Tricolor, and numerous other companies are on the either declaring bankruptcy, they're on the verge of bankruptcy. These are not good things. The repo man is running wild through the neighborhood, every neighborhood. People extended themselves. I want that. Everybody wants to buy that fancy car while the money's coming floating out of the helicopters 5 years ago. Well, the money's done floating out of the helicopters. There's no more money. You're not seeing all this going on. We had a shutdown. They're talking about the SNAP, the EBTs, and all the other different stuff. A lot of fraud going on. And naturally, there's always fraud going on with everything. But when people are hurting, the Fred Acts, the everyday people, we get to the point where we've had enough. It's like, look, can't sustain it anymore. You're on your own. That's the point that we're at. Massive amounts of layoffs. Layoffs are already occurring. There's much more that's going to occur. I personally think we're heading into a depression like the 1930s, a global depression. Okay, you got AI, artificial intelligence. That's not going to help the cause. That's going to kind of cause the boom and bust to bust. Think about it. Hello! Think about it. Okay. So, how do I get out of the foreclosure potential that I'm in? Or the trouble with the repo man? Or how do I buy time? How do I get out of this? There's tens of thousands of people that are slowly creeping their way into financial trouble. So from financial trouble, yeah, I guess you could probably buy or whittle a weapon and go start knocking off gas stations. Not a good thing. Sooner or later you get taken out, you'll be dead. You could go to Las Vegas or Macau and try to hit the NFL for 15-team parlays. That's probably not going to pan out. I am of the thought that the possible way out of all this is with something in the crypto world called XRP. XRP, it's at about $2.23. And I spoke a year ago about generational wealth with XRP. It was at 52 cents. Yes, it tipped over $3 twice in the last 7 months, 9 months. And it could easily do that again. A big part of the XRP is going to be scarcity. The scarcity of it, the supply is diminishing. It's also a depreciating item. If and when they start doing transactions with XRP as the monetary currency of the globe, a small amount of it gets whittled away on each transaction. XRP, if you do your homework, don't take my word on it. You got to check these things out. I'm far from any kind of an expert on this stuff. But I've projected on here about XRP for probably a solid year. I think it's going to create multimillionaires. And listen, at $2.23, there's no reason why the average person can't pick up a couple of hundred of these or a couple of thousand of these. It might just bail your financial bass out in a big way. I mean, Ethereum ran like mad. Bitcoin ran like mad. Sure, all the big money people pushed the whole Bitcoin narrative. And yet it kind of seems like they're purposely not pushing the XRP narrative. And the reality is that XRP, from the Ripple company, the parent company Ripple, run by some pretty bright people. I think his name is Brad Garlinghouse, Harvard graduate. They have amassed a team that run that parent company of who's when you look at the names of the people. Think about it. Those people, former Feds, Federal Reserve people, they could write their own ticket anywhere at JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, wherever they want to go. Where do they end up at? They end up at the parent company Ripple because they see the XRP potential. Big money owns a whole lot of this thing. Some of the reasons on why XRP could be the move that changes your financial bass, saves your financial bass. If you're in financial trouble, get yourself some XRP. Get in the game. It could change very quickly. This whole downturn, the volume has been near nil. Very limited volume. Volume. I've pointed that out in the past, right before some huge runs. Volume. Volume is one of those things that will tell you the full picture. The volume on XRP is minuscule. What does that tell me? That tells me that big institutions can't get their hands on this stuff. It's not out there. They can't get it. What's holding XRP back? It's still not regulated. How does it become regulated? I guess somehow, some way, the U.S. government or some conglomerate of the large governments of the world, the IMF included, are going to have to form some kind of joint task force to make the crypto world regulated. Me personally, I'm not sure of the viability of so many of those other cryptos that are out there. Now look, if there's ABCD crypto token, and you could buy it at $6 and it can go up to $11 and you can sell it, you made money. That's fantastic. But I don't think there's room for the hundreds and hundreds of cryptocurrencies that are out there. I also believe that Bitcoin is not the go-to currency. I think it's all been a big institution scam. And I've posted that on here in the past. Seeing that, the surge it's had, seeing the surge that Ethereum has had, Solana, some of these other ones. What would make me think that XRP can't follow suit and do the same thing? It definitely can. What holds it back? A lot of different reasons. I think, my opinion, one of them is the size of it. It's a behemoth. It's like the Queen Mary compared to a huge cruise ship compared to a dinghy. There's 100 billion of them that are going to be in existence. There's over 60 billion of them that have been released. 60 billion. Each one of those tokens can be broken up into, I believe, 1 million drops. If I'm wrong, leave a comment. Let me know. So Ripple, the parent company, has deep, deep pockets. They have a huge war chest. They're recently buying Hidden Road, a brokerage firm, making all these other acquisitions. Part of me wondered 3, 4, 5 months ago, why do they not toot their own horn? Why doesn't Ripple toot the horn of these XRPs if they have all these ones in escrow? Because it adds to their value. Well, if the value goes up too much in price, that might cause them to have to pay a lot more money for anything that they want to get involved with. They're putting the final pieces of the puzzle together. To me, it's only a question of time before it goes live, and this starts being the currency that moves all around the globe. It happens instantaneously within a second or two. The fees are minuscule. Pennies on the, not even pennies on the dollar, pennies on the hundreds of thousands of dollars. One of the last positive things that I can give you about XRP is that the masses out there, most people have not heard of it. They don't want you and me, the Fred Acts of the world, involved with this. Suppose the AI told me, well, when I typed it in there, it didn't tell me, but I read it, that roughly 15% of the outstanding, there's roughly 9 billion of them, are owned by individual people. If we start to get mass adoption by the big money groups out there and the individuals, this price is going to take off and soar. And you'll say, damn, darn, I should have got in on this thing yesterday. Well, what is it, a day late, $1 short? Something like that. On the flip side of that, as I've said many different times, what are some of the negatives? Here's 2 of the negatives that I see inside my head. One is that the Ripple company, the parent company, is putting together such a tremendous project here that the global financial systems might actually start to be fearful of them and try to figure out some way to clamp down on them. The other thought that I have, and I've projected this on some of my postings, is that think about it. If there's no functionality and use case scenario, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, whatever it might be, they don't have much value to anybody. But a bottle of water outside the Walmart might be worth 50 cents. A bottle of water in the desert where there's no water around could be worth your Rolex watch. It all depends. Back to Thanksgiving today. I want you all to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm sorry to bend your ear. This went a little bit long about the housing crash that is imminent. There are so many different things out there. Check out the BlackRock. BlackRock, what was it called? It was the CLOs, the collateralized loan obligations that are in trouble. I don't know, I heard something that BlackRock is actually waiving the fee on them. Nobody ever waives fees on everything. They want their monies. So many different things on here that I've alluded to. May all your days be winning ones. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Leave any comments you might have down below. I thank you all. Have a great day. Share a moment with the ones you love. Give them a phone call, whatever. Have a wonderful, nice day. Get your XRPs. Don't be left out. I know many of you are on board. Thanks. May all your days be winning ones.